Have you ever stopped to think that the greatest danger to your mental autonomy might not be hidden in some rare genetic disease, but rather inside your own kitchen, in a gesture you repeat almost every day without any suspicion? Imagine for a moment the sensation of opening the refrigerator and seeing last night's dinner leftovers as a practical and economical solution for your lunch, completely ignoring that there, under the lid of a container, a silent chemical transformation is underway. What was once nutrition may have become an invisible trigger for the decline of your memory and your mental clarity. We are talking about a neglected domestic risk that, after 60, acts as a sabotaging force against your freedom, eroding the neural connections that define who you are and how you perceive the world around you. We often believe that aging is an inevitable process of loss, but what if I told you that you possess the control to interrupt one of the most aggressive sources of neurotoxins hitting your brain today? There is a profound scientific discovery that completely changes the way we must view the act of reheating certain foods, revealing that repeated heat alters molecular structures in such a way as to create actual poisons for your neurons. This content is not about prohibition, but about reclaiming your power of decision and protecting your cognitive dignity through conscious knowledge. By the end of this conversation, you will understand why reheating might be accelerating processes that lead to dementia, and more importantly, how to adjust your routine right now to ensure your mind remains sharp, independent, and under your total command for years to come. The habit of reheating leftovers is deeply rooted in our culture as a synonym for practicality and domestic economy, something passed down from generation to generation as a sign of wisdom and a way to combat waste. However, this apparent efficiency hides a silent and cumulative danger that millions of people ignore daily as they prepare their meals in the microwave or on the stove. Unlike classic food poisoning that manifests with immediate symptoms like pain or malaise, the chemical reactions triggered by reheating certain foods act underground, building up a toxic load that the organism cannot always process. This silence is what makes the habit so treacherous, as we link health only to the immediate, failing to realize that the gradual loss of mental clarity may be directly connected to what we put on our plate after the second or third cycle of constant heating. After age 60, our body's biological context changes significantly, making us much more vulnerable to these dietary neurotoxins that once seemed harmless. Our metabolism naturally slows down, which means that any ingested toxic substance remains in circulation much longer before being neutralized or excreted. Additionally, there is a natural decline in liver and kidney functions. The liver and kidneys, which act as our internal filtration system, lose their youthful vigor and can no longer keep up with the demand to detoxify compounds like heterocyclic amines or oxidized lipids. This physiological gap creates a dangerous accumulation where small daily doses of toxins, which a young body would eliminate with ease, begin to settle in the tissues, creating an internal environment prone to chronic inflammation and premature cellular aging throughout the entire system. Perhaps the most critical point of this transformation is the increased permeability of the blood-brain barrier, a protective shield that should prevent unwanted substances from reaching the brain. In aging, this barrier becomes more porous, allowing neurotoxins generated during reheating to cross directly into the nervous system, where they promote what science calls inflammaging. This state of chronic systemic inflammation is exacerbated by the ingestion of pro-inflammatory compounds present in reheated proteins and nitrates, causing direct damage to neurons and reducing cellular repair capacity. This process is not a sudden event, but a continuous erosion of neuroplasticity that compromises memory and cognition over decades. Understanding this biological vulnerability is the first step in protecting your mental health, ensuring your brain is not overloaded by an invisible burden that steals your vital energy and long-term autonomy. The central conflict we face lies in the dangerous and widespread belief that food is just food, regardless of how it is processed or reheated after its original preparation. This silent error is a common habit that invisibly accelerates biological decline, transforming apparently healthy meals into sources of pro-inflammatory substances that overload the body. By repeatedly reheating certain foods, we are, without realizing it, ignoring a change in the molecular structure that generates toxins capable of crossing the protective barrier of our brain. For those who have passed 60, this practice stops being a simple domestic convenience and becomes a direct threat to cellular integrity. The problem is not the food itself, but the chemical reaction caused by repeated heat, which creates a hostile environment for neurons, promoting systemic inflammation that the mature body struggles to fight or neutralize with total efficiency. What is truly at stake here is your most precious asset in maturity, your autonomy and your ability to remain lucid and independent. By allowing these dietary neurotoxins to enter our system chronically, we are accepting a cognitive decline that could be avoided, risking the loss of short-term memory and the agility of reasoning. In the long run, this accumulation of oxidative damage paves the way for severe neurodegenerative diseases such as Alzheimer's, which steal not only health but your very identity and control over basic life decisions. Losing lucidity means ultimately becoming dependent on others and losing the freedom to manage your own existence. Therefore, the choice between preparing fresh portions or reheating old leftovers stops being just a matter of time and becomes a vital strategy for neurological survival for your future. The first critical pillar we must analyze concerns the use and reheating of vegetable oils and fats in our daily diet. When you heat fried food or a stir fry that has already cooled, the chemical structure of the oil undergoes an accelerated breakdown, resulting in the formation of highly unstable compounds known as free radicals and toxic aldehydes. These byproducts are extremely harmful to the aging body, as they promote aggressive oxidative damage directly in the brain cells, affecting the integrity of neural membranes. By ignoring this risk, you allow these substances to inflame the vascular system, significantly increasing the likelihood of clogging microvessels in the brain. Correcting this habit brings the immediate benefit of reducing brain fog and protecting your cardiovascular system against silent microstrokes, which are direct causes of vascular dementia, ensuring that the oxygen flow to your neurons remains constant and healthy. It is fundamental to understand that oil, once subjected to heat and then cooled, becomes a source of latent inflammation that acts as an accelerator for neurological aging. The presence of oxidized lipids in your daily diet creates a toxic environment that overloads the body's defenses, making it difficult to maintain clear and agile reasoning after age 60. To avoid this decline, the practical guidance is very clear. Avoid reheating foods prepared with large amounts of vegetable oils such as fries, fatty meats, or heavy stir fries. Instead, try to cook only what will be consumed in the moment or use preparation techniques that do not rely on excessive saturated fats. By adopting this preventive stance, you are shielding your neurons against cellular oxidation, preserving your cognitive agility, and ensuring that your mind continues to operate with strength and clarity. The second pillar involves a group of foods often considered the pinnacle of health, but which hides a dangerous secret when stored incorrectly. Nitrate-rich vegetables such as spinach and dark leafy greens. Although these vegetables are fundamental for nutrition, the act of reheating them converts natural nitrates into nitrites and subsequently into nitrosamines, which are substances known for their carcinogenic and neurotoxic potential. In the mature body, these toxins severely compromise brain oxygenation and cause direct damage to the integrity of cellular DNA, preventing neurons from functioning fully and efficiently. Ignoring this silent chemical process can lead to chronic cellular toxicity, affecting memory and the ability to concentrate over time. Preserving the integrity of these nutrients requires you to consume these vegetables always fresh or immediately after preparation, avoiding repeated heating cycles. And the direct relationship between nitrosamine ingestion and chronic brain hypoxia is a factor that no senior concerned with longevity can ignore in their routine. When the brain stops receiving adequate oxygenation due to the toxicity of these substances, neuroplasticity decreases and cognitive failures begin to manifest more frequently and worryingly. Correcting this simple kitchen habit offers the vital benefit of keeping the brain nourished, active, and protected against the oxidative stress that destroys nerve connections. The practical guidance is to discard leftovers of heated leafy vegetables or incorporate them into cold dishes, such as salads, ensuring that you take advantage of the fiber and vitamins without exposing your mind to harmful compounds. By making this change, you take command of your cellular biology, ensuring that every meal is a brick in building a powerful, lucid old age free from cognitive dependence. The third pillar of this necessary alert focuses on the consumption of starches, especially rice, an omnipresent side dish on our tables. Incorrect reheating of rice that has been stored at room temperature or inadequately cooled can favor the growth of the bacterium Bacillus cereus, which resists heat and releases inflammatory toxins. In addition to the bacterial risk, the structural alteration of starch reheated together with fats can generate systemic inflammatory peaks that directly reach the central nervous system. Before we move on to the next crucial items, I would like to acknowledge you who are here seeking to protect your health. If this knowledge makes sense for your routine, comment below on how you usually handle leftovers in your house and take the opportunity to subscribe to our channel, ensuring you never miss the tools necessary to keep your autonomy and lucidity intact. This silent inflammation generated by poorly processed starches is increasingly being associated with what some researchers call type 3 diabetes, which is insulin resistance manifested directly in the brain. By correcting how you handle leftover rice, ensuring rapid cooling, and a single safe reheating, you promote glycemic stability and drastically reduce inflammatory markers in the body. The benefit is robust protection against the development of plaques that lead to Alzheimer's, keeping your cognitive functions stable for much longer. Practical guidance is to prepare only the amount needed for immediate consumption or to ensure that storage is done under strict refrigeration right after preparation. By taking this care, you remove an unnecessary burden from your metabolism, allowing your brain to use energy efficiently to maintain your memory and motor independence. In the fourth pillar, we address white meats and other complex proteins, such as chicken, which are staples of the diet, in maturity. The problem arises when we subject these proteins to repeated heat cycles, which degrades protein structures in an anomalous way and significantly hinders digestion in the aging stomach. This degradation generates toxic byproducts during intestinal putrefaction, resulting in severe dysbiosis that negatively affects the gut-brain axis. When the gut is inflamed by poorly processed proteins, it sends constant inflammatory warning signals to the neurons, impairing mental clarity and agility of thought. Ignoring the quality of these reheated proteins is the same as inviting inflammation to inhabit your nervous system, compromising your ability to process information quickly and accurately. The health of your brain begins literally with how your digestive system processes every meal. The direct consequence of this intestinal dysbiosis is the weakening of the barrier that prevents toxins from reaching the brain, facilitating cognitive decline and short-term memory loss. Correcting this habit by choosing to consume fresh proteins or transforming cold leftovers into safe dishes, such as protein-rich salads, brings the benefit of better digestibility and protection of intestinal integrity. A shielded and healthy gut is the first line of defense for keeping your neurons preserved and your mind sharp against the natural wear and tear of time. The practical guidance here is to avoid the microwave for already cooked meats, preferring consumption at room temperature or preparing individual portions that do not require reheating. By prioritizing the integrity of the proteins you consume, you are investing in the maintenance of your neural network, ensuring that communication between your brain cells remains fluid, fast, and fully functional. The fifth and final pillar of our list is perhaps one of the most dangerous for brain health: the heating and reheating of processed meats, such as sausages, hams, and other deli meats. These foods are already loaded with nitrates and preservatives that, when subjected to intense heat repeatedly, create what are called advanced glycation end products, known by the acronym AGEs. These substances are highly reactive and severely accelerate cellular aging, promoting the oxidation of cholesterol and the hardening of the arteries that irrigate the brain. In the organism over 60, AGEs are true villains that sabotage cognitive longevity, as the body has extreme difficulty eliminating them, allowing them to circulate freely and cause deep structural damage. Ignoring the danger of these reheated processed meats is to allow time to run faster against your lucidity, accelerating processes that could be delayed with more conscious food choices. The relationship between the accumulation of advanced glycation end products and the formation of amyloid plaques in the brain is one of the most concerning discoveries of modern neuroscience, being directly linked to the onset of Alzheimer's. By eliminating or drastically reducing the consumption and heating of these products, you reap the benefit of severely slowing down brain cellular aging and keeping your cognition sharp for decades. It is not just about avoiding a disease, but about ensuring you continue to be the master of your own mind, capable of remembering names and dates and managing your life with total fulfillment. Practical guidance is to replace these processed foods with natural and fresh options, or if you consume them, never subject them to successive reheatings that potentiate their toxicity. This strategic change in your kitchen is an act of courage and self-love that protects your history and identity against the erasure caused by neurodegenerative diseases. As we go through these 5 pillars, it is evident that the act of reheating food is a powerful variable you can control to ensure your power in old age. To illustrate the weight of these choices, let's look at 2 real profiles. On one hand, a man who, aiming to optimize time, prepared large meals on Sundays to reheat them throughout the week. He began to report persistent brain fog and fatigue, believing it was just the inevitable weight of age. In contrast, a woman of the same age, upon understanding the neurotoxicity of leftovers, decided to adapt her portions for daily fresh consumption. In a short time, she experienced a notable increase in her clarity of reasoning and vitality, proving that the liver and kidneys are deeply grateful when the toxic load is strategically reduced directly at the food source, allowing the brain to operate at its full original capacity. Old age is not a sudden event or a destiny traced only by genetic inheritance. It is the cumulative result of decades of biochemical interactions that we often ignore in daily life. It is fundamental to understand that the human body does not age randomly, but responds precisely to the stimuli and substances we introduce into our system day after day. When we talk about the danger of reheating food, we are discussing how small, apparently harmless habits accumulate a devastating impact over the years, shaping the health of our cells. Cognitive and physical decline rarely happens from one moment to the next. It is a progressive erosion, fueled by constant inflammations that could have been avoided with strategic vigilance. Understanding this layer of interpretation gives us back the leading role over our own longevity and autonomy, ensuring that aging is a process of strength and awareness. It is perfectly understandable to feel a certain discomfort realizing that such common habits can be harmful to the integrity of your brain, but it is crucial to understand that fear should serve only as an alert for immediate action. Although the neurotoxins generated by reheating have the potential to accelerate cognitive decline, human biology is surprisingly resilient when we provide the correct conditions for its recovery. It is never too late to change course and start protecting your autonomy through simple yet powerful adjustments in your daily culinary routine. By opting for fresh foods and avoiding the repetitive cycle of heat, you are literally removing an invisible weight from your mental functions. Hope lies in the fact that the positive impact of this change is real, allowing old age to be lived with renewed strength and full awareness of every precious moment. Ignoring these warnings and maintaining the habit of reheating leftovers indiscriminately can lead to a scenario of dependence that no one wants to face in maturity. Without a conscious change, the accumulation of neurotoxins in the body accelerates cognitive decline, transforming small forgetfulness into a progressive loss of the lucidity necessary to manage one's own life. The direct consequence of this neglect is the need for permanent caregivers and frequent hospitalizations, creating a massive emotional burden for the family. Therefore, if you value your independence and want your friends and family to protect their future as well, share this video with those close to you. Those who choose to act preventively today, adjusting their meal preparation, build a shield against dementia, preserving physical mobility, and the ability to make important decisions with total control and dignity. Perhaps the most surprising and counterintuitive revelation of this alert is the fact that the microwave, the ultimate symbol of practicality in modern life, can act as an invisible chemical accelerator for these dangerous transformations we have discussed. We often firmly believe that the act of saving food and avoiding waste is the most sensible and virtuous choice for our daily lives. But science shows us that this virtue can become a silent biological vice when we ignore the chemistry of leftovers. Did you know that some of the toxic compounds mentioned, such as nitrosamines, only reach their peak toxicity after the second cycle of intense heat? It is at this moment that we need to look at our kitchen with new eyes, understanding that what seems to be just a plate of reheated food is, in fact, a load of latent inflammation ready to cross your brain barrier right now. To apply this knowledge immediately in your routine, the first step is to rethink the logistics of your daily food preparation. Instead of cooking large volumes that will be stored for days, start calculating exact portions that meet only your immediate need, eliminating the dependence on constant reheating. If proteins like chicken are left over, the safest guidance is to consume them cold in salads or quick dishes, preserving the integrity of the molecules and avoiding the formation of new toxic compounds from microwave heat. Closely observe how your body reacts. Notice if after a fresh meal your mind seems clearer and your energy more stable. Learning to quickly cool what is left over and adopting the practice of discarding green vegetables after the first preparation are practical adjustments that shield your neurological health, ensuring your kitchen is an ally of your cognitive autonomy. As we conclude this journey of discovery, it is clear that maintaining your cognitive health does not depend on grand heroic interventions, but on the zealous care of small gestures in your kitchen. We understand that the act of reheating foods like oxidized oils, vegetables with nitrates, and complex proteins can introduce neurotoxins that sabotage your lucidity in the long run. Every conscious decision to prioritize fresh food is a direct investment in your autonomy and the power to age with total control over your own life. How do you intend to adjust your leftover preparation starting tomorrow to shield your memory? Leave your comment sharing your reflection, subscribe to the channel to strengthen your walk toward a vibrant longevity, and share this video with those you love. Your dignity is your greatest asset, and now you hold the tools necessary to protect it fully.